Good morning, everyone. I see quite a few people coming in so far. We're right at about 11 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead as I normally do and just allow another minute or so. Let a few more people come on, and then we will go ahead and get started. While we wait, as usual, I just want to remind everyone this is a webinar format. So all the attendees are going to be muted throughout this presentation, and we will handle questions at the end, but we'll get into all those details here in just a minute. All right, so we are just past 11 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Hello, welcome to the IMS webinar series. Welcome back to many of you. I am Aaron Blair. I have been your presenter here for this entire 7-week series, including our final episode here today. Final of this series, certainly not the final ongoing. This is something we want to do on a regular basis, and we'll talk about that a little bit at the end as we do a wrap up. I've been working here with IMS and Retail Pro for the past 17 years, doing everything from project management to implementation to training. So far, we've covered a variety of topics in our first 6 of 7 webinars, and all those have been focused on 3 areas: making money now, really at the beginning of the whole shutdown, getting things done while you have the time, so throughout the course, and being ready to open back up, which hopefully a lot of you guys already have in some way, shape, or form. So what can you expect from the webinars, or should I say this last webinar? First and foremost, you can expect the webinar right here and right now. At the end, we will be addressing questions, so please post them in the question section of the control panel, and our moderators will organize them, and they can be handled during that Q&A session. Webinars should run about 45 minutes, could go to 1 hour, just depends on the quantity and depth of questions that we get. So far, we've had a lot of good questions every one of these episodes, so that will just depend. Additionally, we will be introducing a poll, as we typically do. We're going to do 1 poll this week, and your participation is always greatly appreciated. The poll is anonymous, and the results are only going to display as a percentage of the overall feedback. And as usual, we always like to thank everyone for just allowing IMS to be your trusted business partner. Oh, also following each webinar, as many of you may already know, a recording will be made available to everyone here who's in attendance, even just everyone who registered and couldn't make it. That way you can share it with other members of your team who were unable to attend. All of those webinars up through now, and we'll be including this one, are available on our YouTube channel. If you need the information for that, please reach out, but it's just IMS POS on YouTube. And then lastly, someone here from our team will be reaching out for feedback, provide you with some one-on-one insight for any needs that you may have related to this episode. Okay, so before we talk about our new service options, our portals, our dashboards, and everything that we have coming up, we're just going to do a quick recap of all our previous topics, right, which has been a lot so far. Specific to applications, we've looked at e-commerce integration to Retail Pro. We've looked at advanced inventory management, Retail Pro Prism, Retail Pro Reports, and mobile POS with eMobile. And then on the IMS services side, we did 1 webinar where we reviewed IMS Cloud Hosting and IMS Managed Services, the all-in-one IMS solution. So today we'll continue with the IMS services side. And more specifically, we'll talk about IMS support. What are the options? We will take a look at our service portal, our accounting portal, and talk about, again, some of the things that we have upcoming with some improvements and some reporting, some automated reporting. So I think that'll be of interest to a lot of people, especially those who utilize our support on any type of regular basis. So let's just jump right in. So to understand how our support works, let's just take a look at the 3 available levels. right? Every IMS customer falls into one of these categories. First, you have the PPSA, or prepaid service agreement. You simply put money on account for use of any IMS services, including support. For those who don't know, our support billing is now done by the minute, so you can maximize the value of those prepaid hours. So if you call us with an issue that takes 6 or 7 minutes, that's all that's going to come off of that time. Next, the support contracts. So we have 2 levels, silver and gold, with the differences only being the coverage days and hours. So silver contracts provide remote system support Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, or a standard business week. And for most of you, you don't operate on a standard business week, so we have our gold option. That gets you coverage 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to midnight Eastern time. And then lastly, really something kind of new this year that we've been developing is our IMS managed services. And we covered that in depth already. Certainly, if you missed that one, please, again, check it out on our YouTube channel. This is a plan tailored to your needs and can cover a wide variety of system support outside of basic help desk, right? Anything from system administration to networking. So before we move on from support, I wanted to mention the importance of having money on account, or the PPSA. Even if you have a support contract, it's important as well. So if you need anything from training to reinstallation or any other billable event, especially at critical times, this allows us to expedite the process to assist you. We even have something new coming out related to the PPSA, but I'll show you that later on. So to give you a little bit more insight on support and services, I actually wanted to do something different for our finale webinar, and that was to bring in another presenter for a few minutes. So IMS is very happy to have Bruce Smith back with us after some years away working with a company that most people are familiar with, Sunoco. I won't steal any more of his thunder, so I'll just leave that as the introduction. But before I do turn it over to Bruce, I wanted to do our poll for this session. So let me go ahead and get that opened up. And as always, you'll see a poll question in front of you that's going to prompt you for a response. Basically, just trying to gauge a level of interest in support, whether you have a contract, you have a PPSA, just kind of want to get a baseline for that information. So I'm just going to give that a minute. It looks like we already have over half the responses in, which is great. And then as soon as we look at those results, we will hear from Bruce. Okay, well, this one's moving fast. I will just give another maybe 10 or 15 seconds. Looks like we have almost 100% of the responses in. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. And let me share these results with you. You know, usually these results are about what I expected. I didn't really know what to expect from this one. So a small percentage, never have one, don't need it, that's fine. Certainly if you're on a PPSA and that works well for you, you know, let's be honest, we have clients who have full IT staffs who have been using Retail Pro for many, many years, know the product very well, and only need to lean on us, you know, very infrequently. So PPSA works fine for that. Never had one, but interested. That's great. We always are happy to go over those numbers with you. That, so that's not surprising. And then it looks like over a quarter of people currently have one, which is great. Certainly, you know, to be able to use that support when you need it, that's just good to have it there. All right, so let me go ahead and hide that poll and take you to Bruce. Bruce, the floor is yours.
All right. Hey, thanks, Aaron. Just as a little FYI, I think your audio might have been cutting in and out there a little bit there. So maybe while I talk for 5 minutes here or something, you can check that out for sure there. But hey, hi everybody. Like Aaron said, my name is Bruce Smith, the newly appointed director of service delivery here at IMS. For those of you customers that might have been here before 2004, you hopefully probably remember me here. So I am back for a second term here, if you will. But let me quickly explain what reports up to me at the moment here. So projects going on, new customer projects, upgrades, um, anything project related will be reporting up to me. As well as anything with the client care help desk. And again, that's at least like the level 1 and level 2 tiers. And some things that we do here, we're also the level 3 tier as well. And with being in the role for such a short time of being back, I'm certainly looking to make these areas better, but also to be more of a proactive, have a proactive aspect to things, and not just strictly reactive, that every time you have a problem that we're only reacting to that. We certainly are trying to have a little bit of a focus on what can we do proactively to alert you of, hey, there's an issue or something that we should be looking into. But as far as my background goes, again, kind of my first tour here, we're lovingly referring to it as Bruce 1.0. You can see I was here for about 9 years or so and certified on every version of Retail Pro between those times, which again was like version 5 to version 8. Again, I know there's been newer versions since then, but I think a lot of things, at least at the core of Retail Pro, I'm certainly learning are very similar to what I had learned 15 years ago there. And again, back that time, I did practically everything and anything here, just to name a few things involved in the customer planning, setup, installs, training, on-site work, first day live being on site. We would have customers that would want us to help organize their physical inventory. So I certainly had a big handle in that as well. And just to touch on a few things. So yes, as Aaron was alluding to, I went to a company, Sunoco, and you can look it up at that website there. I was there for 15 years. Those of you that are east of the Mississippi probably would have heard that there are 7,000 gas stations around the country, but it is a predominant footprint east of the Mississippi River there. So obviously a different vertical, but it was still retail, with convenience stores. And not all of those 7,000 gas stations and retail operations were owned and operated by Sunoco. There were individual business owners, and they might own one station. They might have owned, 10 stations for that matter. So there I was certainly I continued to talk with retail business owners, techies, software developers. And while having a lot of different positions, kind of the first 7 years, the last 8 years I was there, I was the National IT Help Desk Manager, and we handled over 400 tickets a day, and that was for 5 different POS systems. So not just Retail Pro or not just eMobile. It was 5 different POSs that the team had to learn. And we worked with dozens of different ISPs and MSP providers around the country. So again, kind of nothing of that scares me here in coming back, and I think I can bring back a kind of a broader vision and kind of help build a path to the future here. Two little things I wanted to bring up about my time there at Sunoco was, I was on the customer side at that point. So you could state that my first tour duty here, and now this time, obviously, I'm in a vendor and partner relationship with you guys, but there for 15 years I was the customer, and as sites went down, and it was definitely impactful. And so I think I have that perspective in coming back here where I know what it's like to have a site down and not getting response from your vendor. So I think I'm going to, hopefully it can kind of turn that on its ear a little bit, and hopefully you've never had a real problem with IMS around that regards. But if you have, I'm certainly, you know, kind of envisioning to change a lot of that mantra and be very transparent and communicative back to you guys. So a couple of things just to leave you with here is, I definitely want to talk to customers. You know, we can't fix it if we don't know what's broke. And that goes two ways, not just, hey, my printer's not working. Obviously, we can't fix it if we don't know that's broke. But I would also say if there's some interaction with the company that you feel could be better. Again, I'm definitely open for those type of discussions, and can have those type of discussions with any of our customers. And I really, as you'll learn here today with some of the things Aaron's going to talk to, is I do really want to help share and make data accessible. And so whether or not you knew that some of this stuff existed on the portal, and looking up a little bit, giving a little bit more power to you guys as far as knowing how to look up tickets or interact with a ticket, that's great. But we've got some other initiatives that are going on this year that I think you'll find will be you know, really impactful, and hopefully having a definite plus for your business here. So with that, Aaron, again, thank you for taking care of all the webinars. I know we're wrapping this one up, and you know, obviously it's not all done. I think they've been very successful. So thank you for all your time you've put into these as well.
Great, thank you, Bruce. Yeah, great to have Bruce back with us. I was joking with him yesterday that, you know, I've been here 17 years. Bruce and I overlapped for about a year and a half during Bruce 1.0, but I don't go back as far as 1995 because I was in the 8th grade in 1995. I think I found that funnier than Bruce did. All right, so moving on. I wanted to talk about our service portal. So let's just jump in and talk about how to open a ticket. It can easily be done through the online support portal. But with that said, we have found that less than 20% of all tickets this year have been opened via this method. So over 80% of tickets are being done through a phone call. And that's not to say you can't call us, especially if you're fully down at a critical time. But for many other tickets, the portal's a great option. For example, you have a silver support contract and you want to open a call me Monday type ticket on a Sunday afternoon because you have a little time, that's great. Or maybe you're tied up on another phone call, but you say, hey, I want to get a ticket going while I'm sitting in front of my computer. And on top of that, for anyone who has our iManage product that we use for automated support, remote access, did you know you can actually open a ticket by right-clicking that little IMS logo down by the clock in your system tray? This option even allows you to include a screenshot of any error message or important information without having to type it out or to read it to someone over the phone. So you can simply right-click, open a ticket, put your information in, and it's that simple. And all the tickets go through the same system. Plus, outside of opening tickets, the portal actually gives you historical information related to your service request. So we're going to do two little, I wouldn't even call it a demo, but we're just going to jump over and take a look at this portal. And then when we talk about our accounting portal, we're going to jump over and take a look at that as well. So just to give you an idea, this is directly from our website, ims-pos.com. Of course, as I said, right here in the top left is our phone number, toll free. You can call that anytime you need support. But here on the right, you can see this big yellow button for our support portal. Now, I already have the portal open, so I don't have to do a login. This is what it looks like. So in my portal, you can see things like a dashboard. Right here's some statistics, number of open tickets. Great, I have none right now. I've done 6 this month on this demo account to get some data in here, and 10 total this year. We can see that by month. We can see it against last year, month over month. So we have a lot of good information there. If we need to create a ticket, right, probably one of the main reasons we're coming in here, we can simply check off what type of problem it is. In our case, we'll just do Retail Pro. Generic title, Retail Pro issue. And I'm just going to put system problem. Of course, when you guys enter tickets, the more details you can provide, the better we're able to assist you. But for a demo, I'm going to keep this short and simple. This is actually done. Many of you know Megan. This account is set up under her name that I'm utilizing. But I'm just going to go ahead and put my email address in here. So if this will pull up the default contact for your account, but certainly you can change any of this information so that it will go into the ticket so they know who to contact. And a lot of times that can help speed things up as well. As you can see, you can add an attachment here as well. So if it's a screenshot, anything that you've done, you can put that in there. You can check off whether it's an emergency and then some additional detail. So I'm simply going to go ahead and submit that ticket, and we can see it's going to create a service ticket. If I refresh here, then I can now see I've got some information here. So someone else is actually on this account as well. So it looks like a couple tickets have opened. I can already tell because I just heard my phone go off and my watch go off that an email has already been received. So this allows you to have some instant feedback, right? And let me show you this. This is instant feedback that says, I know a ticket got created. I know it's in their system, and I know that the details are here, and this is what it looks like. So now typically, this ticket would get handled, you'd get contacted, and then it would go ahead and hopefully get closed up. Whatever back and forth, whatever notes, all of that information is going to be in there. And aside from just this dashboard here, I can always go into the tickets tab. I can see not only any open tickets that I have, but I can also see any closed tickets. I can search for tickets by ticket number, by contact, or by summary. So if I want to see all my open and closed tickets, we can now see that I have over 20 tickets. And Bruce was kind enough to mark the current ticket as closed pending. So I receive another email for this, and it basically says, hey, we've marked your issue resolved. If you're good with that, if you think it's been resolved, then you can simply click here to close ticket. If not, if you say, hey, I know I told you on the phone before I hung up that everything looked good, but it turns out it's still skipping tags, or polling's not working, whatever the issue is, then certainly you can continue to interact through the ticket. But if it's completed, you can simply close it, and this will go out and it will pull up the IMS survey. I encourage you to answer this survey. Right? I know we all get these. You unsubscribe from an email, they want to know why. You buy something, they want to know, what you thought of it. But in this case, because you interact with our technicians, we want to know what we can do to improve our process. We're on good or great service, right? People love to hear that as well. And this information all gets filtered. So I will just say, don't be shy. If you have an issue, please let us know what it is. And then that will get handled appropriately. This doesn't go directly to the technician or anything like that. So please, the more candid you can be, again, the better that we can react and respond. Additionally, in the portal, if you have any projects going on, those would be in here as well. So you can go in and see what's going on with your projects, either the last updates, the steps still to be completed. We are currently working on our recommendations and knowledge base sections. So those are in process right now, but also keep in mind that you have access with valid or software assurance for Retail Pro to Retail Pro TV and My Retail Pro and all of that great knowledge there. So that's another good reason to have things like your software assurance up to date, because you'll get access to all that kind of self-service stuff. So again, that's a brief overview of the support portal and kind of the process of, I can create a ticket, the ticket can get handled, I can close the ticket, and then I can provide some feedback. Right, let me just pull this back up. Okay, so we've taken a look at the portal. That was our portal demo. And now that I've given you that high level overview of support, the portal, ticket creation, that whole process and life cycle, I also wanted to give you a glimpse at a new support portal that we're working on that'll be coming soon. There'll be an improved user interface, some additional features, and you'll actually have the ability to control user access yourself without contacting us. So currently, any user access or maintenance needs to be done through IMS on the back end. So if you say, hey, I want my store manager to also be contact and have access to the portal, we have to do that for you. But this new portal is actually going to allow you to be in control of that access within your organization. Again, I just want to show you things that we're doing, right? That we're constantly improving this support process. Every day we're trying to think of how can we do better, and as Bruce mentioned, how can we be more proactive? How can we get out in front of issues before you even know they're issues? So just everything we're doing is part of a plan. And then in addition to the support portal, we also have a portal for accounting. So you have full visibility to your accounting status. You can make online payments, set up auto pay, and this is all login and security controlled as well, right? Long gone are the days of faxing us your credit card number. And I could see from the attendee list, I know some of you guys have been around long enough that used to be common practice. And soon gone, honestly, are the days of mailing invoices and paper checks. So if you or your accounting department is not set up on our portal, reach out to us. And I'm just going to give you a quick, again, wouldn't even call it a demo, just a quick kind of walkthrough of what that looks like. So I have that one here as well, ready to log in. You can see imspos.com. It's all secure. This is all part of our system. So again, just a dashboard here. We come in, I can see, my total balances for this test account, demo account, any past due amount, any credits, anything like that, even a nice payment history here. So we can kind of see what our spend level has looked like. We can see all of our open invoices right here. So you have full visibility to what's going on. And then we can drill down. We can look at just our open invoices. So here's that 3 cents balance remaining on a total of $1.06. Again, demo and test transactions. But we can see the due date was February 20th, and we're pretty far past due on that. Total invoices, so anything that's been paid or open, payments that have been made, and then auto pay, right? So it's nice that we can come in here and just pay an invoice as it comes in, but you also have a lot of auto pay functionality, and you can set this up. So if I click a new auto pay here, and we're not going to get too deep into this, but I wanted to show you a few options. Number one, your payment method. If you don't have one, it can be added, credit card, bank account information. And then when are you going to run that auto pay? Is it going to be on the due date of any invoice? What type is it? So there's just a few options in here to be able to set that up and get that running nice and smooth. Again, the more the stuff like this that you can automate, the better. And of course, you will always get those invoices prior to say, okay, this is a good invoice. I agree with this. Go ahead and let auto pay take care of that. So again, just another place that, if you're not aware of, you can go on, and from an accounting side, you can come in, manage all your accounting, and even pay your bills right here online. So we're starting to eliminate the mailing of checks, the calling with wire information, that type of thing, and really doing it in a very secure fashion. So as I said, that's the accounting portal. And I mentioned earlier that there was something coming new for the PPSA, and we're pretty excited about this. Here's a sneak peek of it. Soon we're going to have a portal for that as well. And I know everything's portal today, right? But this is going to be a portal for the PPSA, and you can actually access that directly, and you'll be able to manage your account and your balance. So you can come right in here, you can purchase a service block, you can pay online. I'll be honest, I'll tell you that we see it so many weekends where someone calls for support and they have no PPSA money in place. And we have to go through a process with them on our end to get that set up, to get the payment, and get the customer service. So now imagine with this portal, you'll simply go on, add money to your account. Heck, you could do it while you're on the phone placing a ticket or right before entering a ticket through the portal. You can say, hey, let me get this ticket open on the portal. Let me top up my PPSA, and we're ready to go. So it's still in the final development testing. but I wanted to include a screenshot, honestly, to show you it's real, right? And it's almost ready to deploy. This is not just something we're talking about. This is something that we've had well in development, and this should be coming out very soon. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk to service reports. So we do have some service reports in the works that are going to be scheduled and automated so they can come directly to your email. And basically, they'll give you the highlights, right? How many tickets, how much time, all of that information will be able to come in a report format. And that analysis with us at IMS is really part of an overall service strategy, right? So this works into quarterly business reviews where we want to review service with you. What is happening repetitively, right? Is this a technical problem, or is this a people problem, right? Is it something that's happening on your side or our side that can be prevented, that we can get out in front of? So again, those reports are all part of the overall strategy, and that's something we also have in development on our roadmap as well. And then lastly, as we always do before we get to some questions, we'll just talk about next steps. As always, reach out to us, right? I can't say that enough. Just have a conversation. Tell us what you need. If you need access to one of the portals, if you need to understand how they work, right? If you need someone to spend 5 minutes with you on the accounting side and show you, hey, how do I pay an invoice? How do I set up auto pay? It scares me a little bit. I want to make sure things don't get double paid. So we can certainly run through stuff like that with you. And then look out for the future improvement announcements. So a lot of things we've talked about are here today, right now. But then some of the items, such as that PPSA portal, a different service portal and support portal. So look out for those announcements. We'll be letting you know when some of those future improvements are coming. And then, of course, provide us feedback. Help us improve the process. So, for example, when we start doing automated service reports, now they're going to be a format that we think will work for everyone across the board. And if you have some suggestions, we're always willing to take those and say, you know what, that makes sense. Several people have said, hey, the report should really be formatted a little bit different. Then we'll take that under advisement. We'll take a look. We'll see what's involved. And then we may implement the change. So just please always help us with your feedback. Okay. And then my favorite part, as it's been every week, is some questions. I always enjoy this. I always enjoy kind of interacting a little bit. We've been compiling a list throughout as you guys have entered those questions in. Just give me 1 second. I'll go ahead and pull those up. And we will get through them. Okay. All right. Okay, this is a good one to start out, and this was, I'm sure, from the beginning with support contracts. Where can I find details of what is included or excluded in a support contract? That's a great question, right? So there are some very definitive answers to that, right? So general, system not working, system not polling versus say, I need software installed on a new computer. Those are pretty black and white, but there's always some gray area where people don't fully understand. We can get you copies if you don't have them already of our service level agreements and all of the related details to that. It may be a case that you guys did that 5 years ago or whatever the case may be, and you just don't know exactly what those are. I'm actually just being told that that is actually available on our website. So ims-pos.com/legal. So yes, thank you for that, for letting me know. All that's available there. If you have any further questions, you just let us know. What are the options for managed services, packages, pick and choose, etc.? I missed that webinar. Okay, no problem. Well, first I'll tell you, again, it's on our YouTube channel. You really should check it out. And then second, I'm going to answer the question, which is the options are pretty wide open. As long as it pertains to the point of sale, the network, the system administration, the operation, the technology, even custom development, right? We can handle all of that. So there's no packages per se. It really is kind of a pick and choose. If you say, hey, I'd love for you guys on a daily basis to make sure this is working. I'd also like you to do some network management. I'd also like you to do this and that. We can certainly structure that plan. So yeah, my first suggestion would be please go check out that webinar and then follow up with us with any questions. Do I have to have money on account to be an IMS customer? Well, the short answer is no. You're already an IMS customer. That means that we are your business partner for Retail Pro. As I mentioned, it helps to have money on account, specifically if you guys need quick service in the evening on a weekend, right? Have that money there, have that available so we can get you directly supported. Always a good idea to do that and to have that ready. What is the difference in the IMS support contracts, and do I need to have both a support contract and a PPSA? Okay, so similar related question. Yeah, the difference, right, as we talked about, really silver and gold are the hours. You don't have to have a PPSA, but if you want service, right, you're going to need that. And even with a support contract, it does help to have that PPSA in place. That way, if you're in the middle of working on an issue and you say, hey, also, by the way, I've got a couple new people here, I'd like to get them trained, then we've already got that money for that billable event on account and ready to go. Is there any priority given to a portal ticket versus phone call? That's a good question. And the answer is no, right? So they all go through the same system. The simplest way, I guess, to think about it is if you go on the portal and enter a ticket into our system, then that ticket's in there. If you call, you're going to interact with our dispatcher, and they're going to enter the ticket in the same system, right? So really, it's just a matter of who enters the ticket, you or them. As I said, don't ever hesitate to call if the credit cards are down and you're busy and you just want to pick up the phone and try to talk to somebody. Great, but certainly when you can, utilize the portal. I think it's a great resource. I think a lot of us are getting more and more accustomed to that, right? We're getting accustomed to every place that wants to, have you enter something online or do a chat for support, because, when you think about it, the resources on their side can be better utilized. If it's not something that's vital, it can be easily scheduled. And, with chat and things like that, they could be involved in several chats at the same time. So yeah, there's no preference, there's no priority. It's just a different way of doing it, and that's all. Okay, and this must have been right before I mentioned it, but can the automated reports be customized? Right, so initially we're going to say this is what we are providing. We think this is what's best. We hope it works for you and provides you the level of detail that you need, but certainly we will take those suggestions. If you have anything you want to give to us and say, hey, I would love it if the report did this or the report did that, then certainly we can look at those things and we can see if that's something that's viable that should go in there for everyone. And let me see, I think that is all the questions. That was good. That was about 8 or 9 questions. So we've been staying up near double digits on every single webinar so far. So let me jump back over. And here. And normally I would go right to my thank you slide, but I wanted to do just a quick 1-slide series wrap up. So again, I've mentioned it several times, all the webinar recordings are available on our IMS YouTube channel. Please check out any of the ones you missed. Feel free to share them within your organization, anyone who hasn't seen them. Even to this day, we're talking to customers and they're asking about, say, what are the mobile POS options? Well, it's a great resource for me to say, hey, rather than do a demo, why don't you start by checking out that webinar, and then we'll go from there if you have questions. So a great self-paced resource, to do what you need. Second point, this will not be the end, right? It's the end of this series. I have been very happy putting this on, but I will tell you, it has been a lot to do it every single week. So that was just our thought for this series because of the window of time that we had. So going forward, probably something like monthly, And whether it's a webinar or whether it's some sort of, Facebook Live event, a podcast, we're not 100% sure what we want to do. And part of that reason is we want you to help us with what comes next, right? So expect a follow-up to close out this series, an email that basically looks for your input, right? What works best for you? Is it a recorded webinar or live event that's available, 4 times during a specific day? Is it something that's available on demand? Is it a podcast? Is it a webinar? Whatever you guys want, I would be more than happy to do, again, outside of doing it every week. We are going to cut the frequency down just a little bit. But other than that, again, I'll just do my standard thank you. Appreciate you guys being here, especially as everyone is kind of starting to open back up. It's one day you're closed and the next day you're scrambling. I appreciate those who have stuck through and are still making the time for this, as everybody's time gets more and more valuable as we move into the summer. I do hope you enjoyed the entire series and that you found all this time together to be valuable, even if you just got 1 or 2 things out of it. If those 1 or 2 things are high impact for your business, then I did what I set out to do. So as I said, we'll have more content soon. Thank you from everyone here at IMS. Enjoy your day, enjoy your upcoming weekend, and we will be back on with some sort of content soon. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am.